Integrative Life Community Building, Class 8. Graduation as an Integrative Life Community Builder. Hello, I'm Jim Morningstar, Director of the School of Integrative Psychology and facilitator of the Integrative Life Community Building course. The focus of our 8th and final class is graduation as an Integrative Life Community Builder. In today's class, we will review what we have learned month by month, assess where we are now in our community building journey, and set goals for how we intend to grow our internal and external communities beyond this class. Class 1, Being an Integrative Life Community Builder. The focus of this first class was preparation to step into your next calling to leadership, a calling that takes you out of survival into thriving consciousness more and more, outlining and dedicating yourself to the steps required for such a venture, whether your focus is on personal ascension, building a more successful integrative business, creating a network of mutually supportive communities globally, or all of these. The logistics of what courses and materials that will help you build a solid community were given. I noticed that there are many and diverse groups of people called spiritual communities. So, it's best that we specify what we're indicating when we use that term. In my experience, there are 3 defining characteristics of spiritual community that help make clear who they are and what they do. Common interest is the first defining element of a spiritual community. Our common intention is to increase internal and external harmony, raise our consciousness and that of the planet in an inclusive way versus creating separation with others. The second defining characteristic is common practices. Raising our awareness is accomplished through freeing our breathing restrictions and mastering our mind. This can include breath work and other forms of energy work for the body and analysis, reflection, and affirmation prayer for the mind. This is just to mention a few of the techniques that we have used that fall under a holistic category of body, mind, and spirit integration. The third characteristic is a common experience. We have shared experience in workshops, classes, trainings, and even didactic exercises such as breathwork exchanges, sharing class exercises together, and sharing a monthly sentence stem journaling. We're not doing our work in isolation. We grow together through common experience and sharing. Other social trappings, such as wearing robes or shaving our heads, is not essential to our community, and in fact, I revel in the diversity we display in our social backgrounds. Ultimately, the proof is in the pudding, as the expression goes. What are the results of participation in our community? Levels of intention, practice, and experience will vary amongst members, and that may vary over time. Being a fairly open-ended community, that's anticipated and accepted here. The trust is put more in each individual's connection to their own source rather than their conformity to rules. Each person evaluates what they are deriving from participation. That is, do the tools and practices help their intentions? Do their interactions with others give a level of spiritual connectedness they desire? Do the principles and teachings resonate with their spirit? Let's complete Handout 1, Personal Inventory of Community Building. Section 1, Common Intention. How alignment with the intention of this course and class members supported my personal and professional growth was. Section 2, Common Practices. How I used breathwork, conscious awareness, and reading, posting of the daily email thread was. Section 3, Common Experience. How the class videos, assignments, and homework were useful to me was: stop the video now and complete handout 1, then come back to the video. Class 2, building and reinforcing your internal community. We worked on integrating the principles of spiritual psychology into your daily life and operating with the certitude of who you are, reinforcing the daily tools of mental mastery such that your mind is working for you 24/7, embodying these principles so that you can teach them in your life and garner support regularly from other like-spirited teachers. What is spiritual psychology? It's a study of the human psyche that gives credence to the spiritual aspect of individuals and is complemented by a spirituality that honors the role of the mind in embodying spirit. This is in contradistinction from most scientific psychology that sidesteps the existence of spirit and puts it in the category of, quotes, religious beliefs, and then tries to understand the totality of human motivation and behavior through measurable aspects of the mind and body. There are also many schools of spirituality which totally separate the world of the spirit from the material world as something that is dangerous illusion and needs to be risen above for us to be saved. Spiritual psychology may not be as easy to employ in life as it seems because of hundreds of years of programming about the separation of the so-called physical and spiritual realms. We are all heirs to that programming, and it can have hidden consequences if we ignore the shadows we've inherited. So our task in this seminar was to try not to philosophize our way to heaven, but to play some games and do experiments which challenge our programming and ferret out unconscious beliefs and behaviors that can keep us in comfortable but deadly ruts. And I use the term deadly very pointedly. Our beliefs about who we are, as we have seen by the end of our 8 months together, have led to more deaths than any other cause on the planet. In this class, we played several games to challenge our mental constructs of our personal identity. The Enlightenment Game challenged us to consider that we are one with the creative source of our life, not the hapless victim of it or of random occurrences. Complete Handout 2, Spiritual Psychology, Section 1, Enlightenment Game. What I have learned or reinforced about who I essentially am in this course is. Section 2, Analysis Game. An example of what I've learned about finding the benefits I get from something I do not want in my life so that I can more consciously get what I do want is. Section 3, Affirmations Game. An affirmation, positive, personal, present, and practical, about myself as an integrative life community builder is. Stop the video now and complete Handout 2, then come back to the video. Class 3, Integrating Body Mastery into your Community of Spirit. In this class, we learned how to generate and conduct energy in your body, communicate it effectively to others, and release the patterns of stuckness inherited from your family and your culture, learning to embody and teach energy mastery to others. What is body mastery? The purpose of our workshop was to present body mastery as an immediate and attainable goal for everyone in this course. It's not reserved for a special few in loincloths in the Himalayas. It's something that is important and integral to every one of us. And secondly, to present methods and techniques that will further us in this process. So, we did not just talk about it, we engaged in it in this class. I believe that it's a mistake to try to ignore, repress, get out of, or somehow to get around being in the body in this life. We've chosen to do this journey together with a body, not by accident. And we didn't get a defective one, even though it may operate differently from other bodies. Our body is a perfect servant, and it's leading us exactly to the lessons that are most important for us, given that we can accept and attend to and learn from this sacred companion. I asked you to suspend your current ideas of what your body is, because we learned about our bodies in the process of discovering how they work, how we create them, and how we change them. So this was a self-discovery class, not learning from a textbook or for some idealized form. Mastery, I defined as the ability to use our body directly, effectively, and pleasurably in accomplishing our life fulfillment. Our body is not something to get around or an obstacle. As long as we keep trying to dismiss it or ignore it, we're missing something very important. My goal was that every one of us would take another step in appreciating the wisdom of our body, and that we would come away not just with an appreciation of it, but with an actual game plan. Where do we go with this work, and how to keep that mastery increasing throughout our life? Take handout 3, Body Mastery, and in section 1, the body as an energy conducting system, write A. Something I've learned about helping the flow of energy in my body is. B. What I now know about what happens to my energy in contacting others is. C. What I learned about my energy zones around my body and my relationship to others with them is. It's not necessary, again, to try to remember what experiences you had while doing these exercises some time ago. Simply speak from what you know in the present and assume our earlier work supports your present observations. We then examined the body as a means of communication. In section 2A, complete, an example of a useful message I've gotten from a part of my body is. And 2B, an overall message my body often portrays to the world is. And lastly, we worked with the body as a product of our thoughts. In section 3A, recount how my reflection on the similarities and differences of my treatment of my body is to how my parents treat their body is useful to me. And 3B, how I'm willing to love my body more is. And finally, 3C, an affirmation about my ongoing relationship with my body is. Stop the video now and complete handout 3, then come back to the video. As long as we stay attuned to the universal flow, the river of life, the temporary vehicles we create will serve us well. I celebrate our passage thus far together and know in my heart I would not have come to where I am without you. Holding you in my heart as fellow travelers on the road home, I send and receive blessings for our circle and all sentient beings. Blessings in light and love.